My name is Dwayne Brown, of course, and I am with Rogers Communications out of Toronto. We are a national telecommunications company. I represent a small technical group inside the company that works closely with our broadcast partners in the company, IT, facilities, real estate, all those different groups that have different touch points, specifically with digital signage. And where branding's concerned with the company at large, so we like to try and find this level of consistency that we're looking for. And I come down to DSE every year to both check out what's new, what's going on in the industry, but also to reconnect with the people that we don't deal with on a weekly, monthly basis through the company, because as much as our vendors would like us to, we can't have an open cart where we're buying for them all the time. And so it's nice to just catch up with them again in this environment, because we're all here to both share some of the experiences we've had from the last year, but at the same time actually talk a little business too that is relevant to us at this moment in our lives. And start at the end. How can you be sure it's right for your organization? I think I've developed a great test to tell if it's right for your organization. If you can stand somewhere in your company and have an easy conversation with everybody in your organization, then you're safe. If you can't, then some form of digital signage is going to be right for your company, because it's about communication, and that's kind of the broader answer to why is it important? What does it mean for corporate communications? Is that it comes down to it is about communication, and it's important that companies, certainly corporate environments, recognize that to communicate effectively, they have to really start looking at different means of communication, because people are accepting communications. I'm using the word communications a lot, but they're accepting it in different ways. They don't want to just have emails thrown at them for things that are going in the company. They don't want to, I can't remember the last time I actually looked at a piece of paper that was posted near the elevator in the lunchroom from something that HR says, don't do this. And so you have to hit people in different ways. Hit sounds a little aggressive, but we as humans, I think, take in information in so many different ways. We know, as a digital signage industry, that movement and change captures the human eye. So even if I'm only catching a piece of information because the screen in my environment is changing the message, I'm going to go, what was that? Was that for me? Should I read that? I'm going to wait for that and see it again, and then follow up if it is important to me. Again, the emails and the papers and all that, it's disposable. It's easy to miss and it's easy to forget about. So I think it's really, it's much more effective in the terms of capturing the outliers and of course the modern workforce that is expecting to get messaged differently than in the past. It's probably relevant for anything. It comes down to the intent. What is the intent of the system you're trying to install, or what is the need you're trying to fill? In one of my presentations, it's why are you doing this? It always comes down to why are you doing this? We've had all these different models in the digital signage industry over the years of is this the waiting room model, or the advertising model, or the out-of-home model, or whatever it is. I think it's come down to there's really only two types of digital signage. There's one that's trying to make money for somebody, client, the user, whoever it is, and there's one that's trying to communicate. And in the corporate environment, I would like to think that you're trying to communicate, unless it's the subversive, we make our employees feel better, so they're working harder, so we're making more money. That's maybe a little long way to go for that, but if you identify what your model is from the beginning and what the benefit is to your company and your environment, and do not waver from that. You cannot waver from it. And throughout your entire project, make sure everybody understands that you're all headed in that same direction for that why. And if it changes the scope of everything you're doing. And don't think you're going to say, oh, we're going from a communications to a money-making model. Oh, that's fine, we'll just change this out here. Everything has to be revisited at that point. That's the tip for building a network. I'll leave this up to you to choose if you want to use this or not. My biggest lesson is, don't let IT run the project. That's a baseline. There's a lot of reasons for that. It comes down to a bit of marketing savvy, a bit of as I said in my presentation, the ability to use your words. Like we tell our kids, use your words. IT has a particular focus, and they're very good at it. It often falls short of what a marketing or communications or even an HR in the corporate environment need to have in their message, in their intent. And so that's one thing. I guess that's one of those hard lessons that don't buy this type of system or don't use that. And I'm not going to badmouth anybody in the industry. My own industry and our own industry is we all come across IT when we're doing these things. And if they're leading the project, it tends to go off track a little easier. The bigger lesson I would say I've learned is more of a life lesson, and it's that classic be in the here and the now. Make your decisions in the here and the now. You can spend all the time you want planning for X and Y down the road, but I guarantee you when you start really getting into the project, guess what option's going to come up? R or Q. It's like, oh my God, we didn't plan for this one. You make your decisions based on the information you have, based on always based on the intent of what you're trying to do with the system, and to the best capability you have on what is honestly right for the system at that time. Last year is not now. Things change. I know generally speaking, there's in the different trade shows that I personally attend, there's always the belief in the respective industry, the ebb and flow. You've got in technology, and I don't disagree, it seems to be every other year there's always some big new announcements, big new technology comes out there. And digital signage is of course no different. The herd is led by a couple of major suppliers generally speaking, and when they don't have anything new to offer, everybody, it's only LCD, there's no LCD. Won't point to the display providers, but there's nothing new there. But what you miss, and what I love about DSE, is the outliers that are always around the outside, and a lot of other events have that too. You put your little guys on the outside, they're first-time exhibitors, and they've got some new technology, or they got some new way of looking at the old technology that hasn't made the mainstream yet. It hasn't shown up in anybody's major plans, but you may see it, and I every year I do this, every single year. It's like, oh my God, that will solve a problem that I've got right now that I didn't even think was a problem that I had, but now I need it. Now I need to talk to them. Or you'll find that diamond in the rough. It's a new company that's just starting out. They all got to start somewhere, and they'll be here, and they'll be the ones that are getting the attention for years when some other big thing isn't going on. The first word that jumped to mind is move, as in movement, as in shifting, it's more than one word, more adjective, I know. And it's not even adjective, move is not, it's more of a verb. But that's kind of, I think, maturing is the right word now, because these last couple of years have really shown how vendors and suppliers are really starting to work with each other a lot better. It like every young industry, it was every man for himself for the early years. There's a lot more collaboration going on now, and a lot more, some of the feelings that I express, the passions and the philosophical reasons for doing what we do, which has always been there. It's actually showing up in the way people are working with their clients now, and I'm really heartened by it, because it's giving hope for the industry to really move into that next phase, which is beyond the idea that we're sticking screens on walls, and we're actually now communicating with people in a much better way, I think.